Hi guys. It looks like I'm all alone here right now, but I'm taking questions if anybody wants to ask a therapist anything. Now's your chance. I will go ahead and share with you a couple questions that I've had this week from various people. Nothing online, mostly via email. Anyway, so the first question that I had was how to stop overthinking. All right, this is a big one. It's pretty common, actually. A lot of it is related to anxiety. Oftentimes, when we're not connecting with our feelings or we're overworked or very stressed, then, it can get to the point where your brain starts to take over and tries to think its way out of feeling, which is something that I like to say a lot to my clients sometimes, is that, sometimes the frequent thoughts and the overthinking is really just your feelings trying to get your attention, but your brain tries to take over and just like, okay, how can I figure out how to stop feeling this? So to stop overthinking, the best thing you can do is try to stop thinking about overthinking, because the more you try to stop something, the more present it is for you. And that's true of the case with feelings as well. If we have a feeling that's unwanted and we try to fight it or push it away, the bigger it grows, the more it takes over, the more control it has over us. So that's partly the answer to that question. Obviously, there's some other tools to do as well. Mindful practices are always helpful. Anything that can ground you and get you into the present moment can be helpful. Let's see, what was the other question? What to expect during the first session? You get consultation calls a lot and people ask how it works, especially people that have never done therapy before. And so basically what it looks like is you come in, you get the paperwork. If it's online, it's all online. And it asks you some general questions about your background, stuff you feel like you're struggling with, how long you've been struggling with it, family history of mental illness, your background, if you've had therapy before in the past. And so there's just like general paperwork and stuff like that. And then, basically it'll kind of go through your goals a little bit. At least that's how mine does. That's how I do it. Everybody's different. Every therapist is different. And let's see. So we'll go through that paperwork and we'll address any questions that you have and, any concerns that you have. So let's say you're coming in, for couples therapy. I'd kind of sit with you both probably to start and try to get to see what your goals were individually and then as a couple, and then assess the problem and see what we could do to work together to try to help you improve some things. So basically, it's just kind of like getting to know each other during the first session, telling you a little bit about what it is that we do or how we work. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Let's see, what else can I answer for that question? Yes, it is normal to feel nervous. I get that question a lot. I say come in. I'm used to talking about therapy in office, even though I've been doing online for the last 5 years. So yeah, it's normal to be stressed or anxious, concerned about, how that process works and sharing your struggles, things that you're going through, thoughts that you probably haven't shared with a lot of people. So yeah, it can be a little nerve-wracking when you go to therapy for the first time. And let's see, what else? Another question that came up this week was, where did I write it out at? Oh, how to stop worrying about what other people think. That was a question that I had as well. And a lot of it has to do with some of our assumptions that we make about what other people are thinking. A lot of times we give them more energy than they do us. Like, we assume that people are thinking about us or paying attention to the smallest little details, and really, they're just not. People have their own thoughts and questions, and things are going through their own life. You don't know how they woke up this morning, or what they went through that day, or with their family and stuff like that. So that's usually what I encourage people to remember, is that it's not about you most of the time. And it's just, I think, a matter of being present with yourself, and accepting of yourself, and just being very genuine with who you are, and recognizing that if someone is of value to have in your life, they're going to be respectful. They're going to probably engage with you. They're probably going to like you. And that's what matters, is, surrounding yourself with people that are supportive and caring and kind and all those things. And oftentimes that question comes up when people are in toxic situations, or have people that are like overly critical of them, and so they get super nervous around people and anxious around people. So that's often part of it. And let's see, I think those are all the questions that I had down for this last week. If you guys out there, if there's anybody watching and you would like to ask me a question, now is your chance. Oh, hi, Scottsdale Travel Chick. How are you? Did you have a question for us? For me? I use the us term because it's Venus Springs. So thanks for joining us. No question yet. Let's see, who else do we have here? Thank you for being patient with me. This was my first live stream, so let's see, where did it go? Okay. I guess I'll give it a few more minutes to see if anybody decides to join us. And then if not, then I will schedule and be a bit more proactive with sending out some notifications that I am live, so you guys can get an opportunity to reach out and ask questions. So somebody asked me a question too about the goal of Venus Springs, and at least the channel anyway. And it's really about support, like creating a supportive community for people that struggle with mental health. I also mentioned this, and if you've watched it, that my goal here is to also support people that have like small businesses or artists. Oftentimes, artists do struggle a lot because they have difficulty in trying to fit into what is perceived as what you're supposed to do in society. And so I've found that a lot of people that are artists often struggle with anxiety and depression and such. So, and also, I like to encourage and promote people all the time that are, passionate about their work. And so if that sounds like you, then join us. I'm hoping that everybody can hear me. I don't. Yeah, no, I think everything's good. All right, you guys are watching me fumble through this for the first time. And if you are watching, and if you think about something you'd like to talk about later, then please just drop me a comment in the channel. And let's see. Okay, yeah, I have another one that I did mention in the last video is regarding couples therapy. Oh, thank you, Scott Skadell. I'm so glad that you're finding this information helpful. So yeah, let's see, the shaming statements I talked about in the couples video, the should statements, this comes up a lot. And this is not something that's just with regard to couples, like we do it to ourselves. I should do this, I should do that, I should do this. And those are very shaming statements. So oftentimes we don't realize that we're doing that. And so basically what happens when you should yourself is you set yourself up for an expectation, or you obligate yourself to do something, right? And then what happens if you don't do it, then you start feeling pretty shitty, right? You're like, oh man, I didn't do that again. I should have done this, I should have done that. So I'll give you an example. I should go to the gym, right? What happens when you don't go? You're like, oh man, this is why I'm still a fat ass, blah, 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 right? I should go, I should go, I should go. And so you just carry this weight of obligation, and then you don't leave any room to be human, or to make mistakes, or for life to happen. So what I encourage people to do is try to catch when they're doing those should statements and try to reframe them in a more empowering way. So instead of saying like, I should go to the gym, you'd want to say something like, I'll feel better if I exercise, or I like the way I feel when I have worked out, right? You're focusing on the outcome of that particular activity, right? You're telling yourself what it is that you would like to do or do differently, and then hopefully find some motivation in that process of, being more empowering with your self-talk. And so yeah, with regard to the other video that I'd shared yesterday, the shaming statements also apply to our relationships as well. We're setting expectations, we're obligating a person, and it can be pretty sticky, and it can end up being create a lot of unnecessary conflict. So it's a matter of really just stating what it is that you're wanting, what that means to you, and just being very clear about it. So when someone says, oh, you should know how I feel, or you should do this, or you should do that, essentially you're saying this is something that I expected, right? But maybe that person didn't know that that's what you were expecting. So we have to be really careful with those should statements. Let's see, what else can I share with you guys? Yeah. I think that's all I have, really, unless we have someone else join us to ask questions. Let's see. I think that's all I got. But anyway, I'm excited about this channel and looking forward to building a community, hopefully, of people out there that want to learn more about mental health, how to improve their mental wellness, also to be supportive to other people. Oh, hi, Nancy. Thanks for joining us from Texas. Did you have any questions for us, for me? There I go again with the us. Let's see. I forgot where it was. Oh yeah, I was talking about how excited I was about the channel, and trying to build a supportive community for people out there that maybe struggle in between their sessions of therapy, if they are in therapy, and also maybe provide some kind of support for people that may not be able to afford therapy. Also, I have to disclose that it's not to replace therapy, rather than to just offer some, as much support as we can, to help support people that might be struggling. And also, as I mentioned earlier, people that have big dreams and don't feel like they can meet them because of all the junk that happens in life. And let's see. That's a good question. What would you say to someone with trust issues with the counseling process? Oh, that's a tough question, but thank you for asking it. So what I say is that, part of the process and part of the challenge of therapy is to open up and to be comfortable with your feelings, right? And counselors are schooled and taught how to create a safe space for people. And so what I like to do is I like to ask my clients what makes them feel safe, what helps them feel heard and more comfortable. And I also encourage them to be honest and open about what they feel and that there's no judgment. And at any time, if they're uncomfortable, then they can let me know, and then we'll talk and explore it together. And I would also want to explore like what the reason is they would have trust issues in the counseling process. Like, did they have a bad experience in therapy? I would probably want to explore that a little bit. Let's see, what else would I say? That's a good question. That one doesn't happen too often. Usually through the consultation, most people are a little bit more relaxed with the idea of coming in. But I also try to normalize what they're feeling, because it is not uncommon for people to feel nervous when they're talking to someone that they don't know. So yeah, that's how it works. I'll have to check with my other colleagues to see if they do anything different, but that's typically what I do. I explore whatever questions they have about how it works, what they can expect, how I work, and that's pretty much how it goes. So thanks for the question, Nancy. Let's see. So how is everybody out there holding up with this whole Trump not leaving the White House? Has that got you guys worried about anything over there? Curious about that. I did a little short video not too long ago about election anxiety, but now that the election is over, it seems like there's a whole new set of anxieties. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of trying to focus on the things that you have control over. It's easy to get sucked in and think about all the things that could happen, all the things, all the worries, all the unknowns. But really all we have is what we can do here and now. And we can only do so much. We're only, little grains of sand in the grand scheme of things. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see. I don't think so. That's all I got, guys. I guess I'll give it a little while, see if anybody joins us. In the meantime, I am going to continue flipping through my stuff to see if I had any other topics come up this week that would be helpful to address today. Okay, yeah. So this one comes up a lot. Didn't come up this week, but it has come up a lot. People that are in abusive situations that want to leave, they don't feel like they can, they feel stuck, they feel afraid, but maybe they're in that period where they're like, okay, yes, I'm ready to leave. I realize that I deserve better. I'm ready to start my life and break free from the situation. And it can be a very scary process. So when someone that comes in for that, and they're ready to go, but they're just really afraid, what I will do is walk them through a safety plan. And let me see if I can pull that up. And you know what I'll do? I'll put that safety plan, that link to the safety plan in the description page of this video once it's up. But basically a safety plan is exactly like it sounds, is that you're taking measures to make sure that you have the support in place, that you have, what's the word I'm looking for? That you've notified the appropriate people of your plan. You have a getaway bag essentially stashed somewhere. I don't want to try to remember it all from memory. So let me see if I can pull it up here. I'm going to share it with you guys anyway. So let me pull it up. Let's see. I think this is it. Okay, so yeah. So who can you tell about what's been going on? So who can you trust to let them know of your plan? And if there is violence or abuse occurring or is likely, thinking about a room with an easy exit. You don't want to go anywhere where there's possible weapons. You have to plan like the quickest and safest route out of the home. Even maybe practice escaping and from that as well. If you have children, teaching them, how to call in case of emergency. Coming up with code words for you and your children. And so let's see. When you're getting ready to leave, you have to make sure you have all of your important documents prepared in a safety bag, is what I call it. That would include birth and marriage certificates, passports, medical cards, benefit books, car registration, etc. You're going to leave some extra clothes, personal possessions, cash, spare keys with a trusted person. So whether that be a neighbor or a family member, and if you don't have any local support, like with family or friends, typically you can find a shelter nearby or close to the area. There are some community centers as well that have trusted people there that you can get in contact with to help you as you try to escape from that situation. Let's see. So finding your local domestic hotline numbers are really important as well. So yeah, I will post this in the description page of this video. And it gives you a step-by-step guide on building a safety plan for yourself if you decide to leave. And if you haven't decided if you are ready to leave or not, then that's how therapy can be helpful to help you just kind of sort through to see, if it is indeed something that's unhealthy that you need to free yourself from, etc. So, I guess that's it. I'll give it a few more minutes. I keep saying, I guess that's it, and then something comes to mind. Okay, that's a good take on it. So Nancy says, I guess in thinking about the issue, I kind of feel it might be more of a fear of being manipulated by someone smarter or wiser. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so when that's a fear, oftentimes that's not articulated by the client that that's something that they're afraid of. And so part of that whole process when they first come in is to tell them, that they're in control, that they are in the driver's seat and I am the navigator. They tell me where they want to go and I will show them different routes to get there. But when all is said and done, they're the driver. They get to decide. They're in control of their life and their decisions. And I'm not the expert on their lives. They just haven't realized it. And they just come to therapy to hopefully figure that out. So my job is to put myself out of a job. So it's supposed to be a working relationship. It's not, I'm smarter than you, I know more than you. No, this is a mutual exchange and relationship to help that person just, be their truest self, I guess, or to empower them to make the changes that they want to make or whatever the case might be when they come in. So that's my approach with that. Yeah. I also had, oh, you're welcome, Nancy. Thank you again for the question. Yeah, we can. We can continue offline later since there's a lag apparently. But it is getting late here in Spain. I am in Spain, by the way, if you guys are not familiar with me and haven't watched any of the videos yet. Yeah, so I'm 7 hours ahead of your time, at least Central Time anyway. I don't know about, I think it's like 6 in Pacific Time. I don't know. Looks like we have someone else joining us. I'm not sure who it is, but welcome. If you have a question, now's your chance. So did that answer your question, Nancy? Yeah, I guess there is a lag. Well, I kind of feel silly here. But, you know, you got to start small, right? You got to start somewhere. You know, this is quite a learning curve, trying to get out there and start a whole community online and provide videos and, you know, support to people. So hopefully we'll see how things go. And I appreciate anybody's feedback out there that, you know, has questions about therapy or concerns about it or their own experiences, or maybe you're even struggling with something yourself. You know, there's a lot of uncertainties and things going on right now. So it's understandable. Okay, everybody. I guess I'll wrap it up. You know, this was a last minute thing. I had some last minute changes in my schedule, and I thought, hey, why the heck not? Maybe somebody out there is listening and needs help, and maybe I'm coming on right at the right time that they need it. So that's why I'm here. But I will make plans to schedule it in the future to be a bit more streamlined, I suppose, and I won't be fumbling too much here now that I know how this works. So yeah, I guess I'm going to call it now. I'll be posting probably this week or next week. And if you guys have thoughts or questions or comments that you want me to include in the video, please drop me a message in the comments. You can always message me through my website as well, and any of the social media. So that's your call to action, is to, you know, subscribe, ask questions, join us. And yeah, till next time, be well, be strong, be love.